Although not as aggressively punishing as the second film in the trilogy, Transformers: Dark Side of the Moon still inflicted enough pain thanks to its overly long runtime. This rock'em sock'em robots for the big screen has as much brains and tact as a Decepticon, smashing together another apocalyptic script where robots battle robots for earthly supremacy. When the highlight of your movie is an extended TGIF commercial with a talking ape, you know you're in trouble. Zookeeper peaks with a trip to the casual dining restaurant between comedian Kevin James and a man in an ape costume, and otherwise is stuck in neutral with an unbelievable romance between James and Rosario Dawson and a ho-hum plot about saving a zoo from extinction. Daniel Craig tried on the role of Daddy Dearest in Dreamhouse, but it never fit. This wannabe horror film never establishes a solid narrative and prematurely reveals its twist in its preview trailer. Lackluster performances from Craig and Naomi Watts seal this tame twister's not-so-surprising fate. Take Me Home Tonight relives the 80s through the crude attitude of the new millennium. This throwback should have been thrown back at the studios after it sat on the production shelf for years. The only thing worse than the lame script is the remarkably annoying performance from Dan Fogler. The first Friends with Benefits film of the year was by far the worst, with the Ashton Kutcher-Natalie Portman romance, No Strings Attached. Kutcher's pretty boy buffoonish roles have run their course, and Portman should have been more selective after reading this hollow script. Director Ivan Reitman continues his streak of duds with this off-kilter romance between a dunce and neurotic doctor. Sucker Punch lives up to its title. This overly dark fanboy fantasy is the biggest cop-out of the year. This revenge fest is set across the backdrop of a young woman's psych ward, but the craziness is supplied by talented writer-director Zack Snyder. Tedious and uneventful, the dreamlike sequences add nothing to a picture whose plot was already running on fumes. One part children's classic, one part Twilight, Red Riding Hood is yet another mistake from director Catherine Hardwicke. Hardwicke's hokey touch with the material is only matched by the over-the-top performances from Amanda Seyfried, Lucas Haas, and Gary Oldman. This Harlequin-esque horror film is more unintentionally funny than scary, thanks to in large part its 19th century setting and 21st century hairstyles. The only thing more annoying than one Adam Sandler would be two Adam Sandlers, right? You get just that in his latest exasperating comedy, Jack and Jill. I used to be an apologist for his films, whether it was The Wedding Singer or Happy Gilmore, but enough is enough, as Sandler's comedies have gone from humorously ornery to lazily grating. The jokes are more tepid, the attitude absent, and the humor painfully sophomoric. If you didn't think romantic comedies could get any worse than the Gary Marshall Weeper Valentine's Day, then you should be thankful you missed another holiday-inspired gem in New Year's Eve. Just like Valentine's Day, this episodic epic of the heart tackles anywhere from 7 to 8 subplots, each less compelling than the next. Despite its who's who of Hollywood stars, this board couldn't nail down one convincing moment. I'm hoping the next Marshall film will at least be truthful. I'd like to suggest April Fool's Day. Proving that skill and execution don't always match, The Sitter sits atop my worst of the year list. Talented indie director David Gordon Green and funny man Jonah Hill combined for the biggest disappointment of the year. Green and writers Brian Gatewood and Alessandro Tanaka's ode to adventures in babysitting plays more like a hack job. This film's moral barometer is seriously disengaged. The Sitter is a grand miscalculation and easily the worst film I saw last year.